Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Venue Coach. In today's episode, I'm going to share one of the findings that I had on a recent client call where we were discussing their business and how to optimize it and make sure that they are using their dollars as best as they can. And what I found was one key area that was really um, a bit inefficient. And so I want to talk about that and just break down the numbers. And I won't use exact numbers or precise numbers or anything like that, but just to give an idea. So in this particular example, the client was using or spending, let's say, $50,000 per year on marketing. So, or we can just say $4,000 a month on marketing. And what we found was that based on the dollars spent and the bookings received, so marketing dollars spent to bookings received, that's called CAC, so cost to acquire a client. And what we found when we were looking at that is that they were getting a CAC of somewhere around $1,300. So they were spending $1,300 per booking that they received. And that is high. That's really high. And they were doing things, different marketing channels, so using different listing groups. So, of course, like Wedding Wire, The Knot, Here Comes the Guide, and a few others that I can't remember off the top of my head. And it's not to say that any of those are good or bad. And I have my opinions on some of them, but it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter how you feel about it. What matters is how efficient that they are. And so spending $1,300 a month, or not $1,300 a month, but spending $1,300 per booking can be very expensive, especially because I know some of you venue owners out there are charging maybe two, three, $4,000 per booking. So if you immediately wipe out 25% of what you're making in your marketing spend, then that doesn't leave a lot of room left to keep the lights on or to hire staff or to pay your mortgage even if you have a mortgage on the property. And so the whole point of this this episode is to talk about ways to bring that CAC down. And so the the way that you do that is either you find a good marketing channel that is going to increase the amount of opportunity that you get, and also it's how well are you performing on your sales. And so there's six key components that go into this, right? So marketing at its core is getting attention. So the attention that you get is from ad spend. It's on listing sites. So like I was saying, like Here Comes a Guide, Zola, um, Wedding Wire, The Knot, that sort of thing. Those are all attention getting platforms. And so that's what you're paying for. You're paying for eyeballs. And the big thing that you have to keep in mind is you start with the eyeballs, so it's impressions, it's all of that. It's on your ads you might see impressions, and then those impressions turn into clicks. Those clicks turn into leads, so they fill out the web form on your website, right? The contact us form, that sort of thing. So those are leads. And then the leads turn into hopefully tours. And then here you can't see my hands. There we go. So the leads turn into tours, and then the tours show up or don't, right? So that's another metric. And then if they show up, then how well you're able to book. So it's not just one, I pay this dollar amount and then it turns into a booking. There's many steps broken down, and you could have a breakdown anywhere along that line. So if you're not getting eyeballs first, then that's a problem with your marketing channel, right? So if you're running ads and you're not getting any impressions, it's not getting to people, then there's something wrong with the ads and you gotta fix that. Then if you're not getting clicks, and I mean technically, like set up on the ads, right? And or maybe you're targeting the wrong types of people and that sort of thing, but that comes down to the clicks, right? So you have impressions, which if you're paying for ads, if you're paying for Google ads, Facebook ads, something like that, then they're going to put it in front of people. And so that's just your dollars going out and getting out in front of people. But where it goes to the wrong people is where it'll impact your clicks. So if you're not getting enough clicks, it's going to the wrong people, or the message is off, where it's not enticing enough to get somebody to want to click. So once you have that, and they move from the click to your website, Now you're looking at a conversion rate optimization issue on your website. So how well does your website convert those clicks that are now on your site to a lead? Because that's what you want, right? You want those clicks. Somebody clicked off Facebook, they clicked off Google, and they've come to your website, and you want them to then fill out your web form. So you want your message on your website to be as enticing as possible so that they want to fill out the form to get more information from you or to even just bypass that and schedule a tour with you, right? So once you've gotten that form, then how well do you convert those leads into tours? How well are you responding? How quickly do you respond? Is the message lining up? Are you reaching the right people? Because you might be out of their price range. You might be under their price range. You might not have the capacity, or you might be too far away, something like that. So are you reaching the right people, and are they actually interested in what you have? So that shows up from lead to tour, or from web form, right? Your leads, yeah, to your tour that's filled out. And then the next one is from the time that they schedule the tour to the time they actually have the tour. Do they cancel? Do they reschedule? Are they showing up or not? And so if you have a low show rate, if you have, I know some people aren't even tracking that. And so you got to track that. How well are you actually getting people to show up to your venue to do the tour, right? And so if you're low across the board, then like you need to fix everything, which is not helpful. But if you notice that there are some metrics that you're just not, um, what's the word? You're not performing as well as you'd like, then you can target that and you can actually do something about it. So in a minute, I'll break down the different metrics and percentages that we have at our venues that I like to use. And I'm not saying that we're perfect at everything, that we can't improve on it, but these are metrics that we've seen steady across years and across multiple venues. And so if you're somewhere in the ballpark, but you're missing, or you're lower than one, or maybe you're higher than one. If you're higher, great, then that may not be your problem child. If you're lower, then it might be something to focus on and to work towards. So I'll break those down in a little bit, but the last step is after they show up for the tour, how well do you convert them on the back end? How well are you pushing the sale? Are you asking for the sale? Are you doing your tours? Are you doing the 4 steps to do a good tour? And are you following up on the back end if they don't book on the same day? So all of those components, they all go down, and it's a funnel, right? I'm sure you're familiar with a funnel, with that in sales as a sales term, but it's a funnel. So you're funneling them from eyeballs, seeing your stuff, all the way down, and it gets smaller and smaller and smaller, like a funnel does, to the eventual booking. And so the improvement, if you make improvements in any of those subcategories or subsections, then you're going to improve your overall output, and you'll see that CAC come down. And so that's the ultimate goal. So really, the goal that we're working towards is finding where that weak link is so that you can fix it and then improve everything. So that's the breakdown. And so